Okay, this video is on two-step equations. But first, a little review on order of operations. You probably remember the acronym PEMDAS from last year. That would be parentheses, exponents, multiplication, division, addition, subtraction. Remember, multiplication, division is left to right. Addition, subtraction is left to right. Multiplication is not first just because it comes first in the acronym. So if the division comes first, going left to right, you do division first. Same thing with subtraction and addition. The order of operations for algebraic or variable equations, you actually just flip it. So instead of PEMDAS, you can use the acronym SADME-P. Notice everything is in exact reverse order. So again, same thing, left to right, subtraction, addition, left to right, division, multiplication. So if multiplication comes before division in the equation, you'll do multiplication first. Exponents will come after these functions, and then finally parentheses.
Okay, so here I've subtracted 6 from both sides, and I'm going to cancel out the 6 on the left-hand side of the equal sign. I'm going to rewrite 3w, and then I'm going to subtract 15 minus 6, and that gives me 9. And then since it's a two-step equation, the next thing I need to do is division because it's multiplication, and that's the inverse. So I'm going to divide by 3 on both sides. 3 cancels on the left, w's remaining, and your answer is 3. To check your answer, you can always take 3 and plug it in for w. You would do 3 times 3 plus 6, and you should end up with the answer 15.
Here we see the same equation using our algebra lab gear. This is 3w plus 6 equals 15. Here I've moved my constants from the left-hand side of the placemat to the right-hand side. And notice I've placed them up in the rounded off rectangle because this is going to represent either subtraction or a negative. Here I've traded my 5 unit for 5 individual units, and the next step is to simplify. So this 5 unit gets canceled out, and this unit will cancel out this unit. So what I have left now is 3w equals 9, but of course I'm not finished. Now I've grouped my individual variable with the constants, and the next step is to simplify, where the solution is w equals 3.
Okay, so for this equation, we have 4c subtract 3 equals 25. This time we're subtracting, so the inverse would be addition. So I added 3 from both sides, add 3 to both sides, and then we're going to cancel out the 3's here, and we're going to be left with 4c. And then we're going to add 25 plus 3, which gives you 28. And we still have to find what c is. So 4c equals 28 is the multiplication equation. We need to divide, which is the inverse. We're going to divide by 4. And we're left with c on the left-hand side. And when we simplify or divide 28 by 4, we end up with 7 as our final answer. And then, of course, you can plug in 7 as C to check your answer to make sure that you get 25.
Here we have the same equation set up using our algebra tiles. So this represents C minus 3, minus because it's in the negative section, and then plus 25, or equals 25. So the next thing I'll do is move these constants from the upper left-hand corner over to this side, and when I do that, they become positive, because essentially I'm adding 3 to both sides. Alright, so now I have 4c on this side and 28 on the right-hand side. I have to divide up my constants so that I have 4 groups, 4 even groups. And there they are, all evenly grouped. So I'm looking for just the value of one of those. And of course that value is going to be 8.
All right, our next example, negative 4x plus 12 equals 36. Notice that the coefficient is negative this time. So I've gone ahead and subtracted the constant 12 from both sides. Here we're still going to cancel out and I'm going to be left with negative 4x. And then we're going to subtract 36 from 12 and get 24. From this point, we're going to divide by negative 4 on both sides. And the negative 4's will cancel out on this side. I'll have the variable x left on the left. And then to simplify 24 divided by the negative 4, I'm going to end up with a negative answer, negative 6.
Here we have the same equation using our Algebra Lab gear. So this is negative 4x plus 12 equals 36. The first step is still going to be addition or subtraction. In this case it's going to be subtraction, so I'll move these constants from this side of my mat over to the right hand side diagonally. Now at this point I can simplify. I have 12 of these constants that are negative, so I'll knock out 12 of my positive constants, which will end up with 24. Now these variables are negative and I need them to be positive. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move these variables down to the positive side, but since I'm doing that, I'm essentially multiplying by a negative number. Whatever I do to one side of the equation, I must do to the other side of the equation. That's the golden rule with working with equations. So that means I'm going to need to multiply these constants by a negative number. That means they're going to move up. So I'm just switching the location of both sides of the equation. So here I went ahead and changed the location. Now I need to get even numbers of each of my variables. Although it's not terribly convenient, I left these numbers up here in the negative section. That way I don't forget that they're negative. When I simplify then, I find out that my positive variable is a negative 6. So here's some things to remember. PEMDAS that you used to solve for numeric expressions and equations now gets flipped to solve for algebraic or variable equations.